The first item I want to address was sent in recently and asks, why don't the roles show the same on the document manager between two different users when they're in the same file? That's an excellent question. Now, the view, if you will, is a personal setting within the CaseWare Working Papers file. So table views in Working Papers are personal and stored in the Windows registry. So if I go in here and I say View Reorder Columns, and I want to show my sign-offs, prepared by, reviewed by, and I'll bring them in here. Click OK. Well, if somebody else comes into this file from their computer, they might not have prepared by and reviewed by set up on their computer. On my computer, any file that I open from now on will show the columns that I've currently set in this file. Again, that's because it's a registry setting. There are a number of items like this. So if we go into our working trial balance and reorder the columns in this table, we'll also see that that affects all of the files that I personally open up on my computer in the future, but it won't affect anyone else opening up the same file because table views are, once again, personal settings. On top of that, under Tools Options, some of these items are personal settings set in the registry, others are file settings. Roles, for example, will go with the file. However, the default role set and the descriptions that you show on your document manager are specific to the individual. So if I had other role sets here, for example, I'll just do a concurring partner review role set. Oops. And I'm not going to worry about the cap lock there. In my concurring partner review role set, I'm going to have 3 roles, and I want this to say second review. Now, if I go back to that and edit it, we have an option to use this set for the document manager headings. Well, again, that's only going to affect my computer. So when I click OK and bring in the second review column, that won't affect anyone else's computer. To have these settings affect all computers and to make all computers look the same, it'd be necessary to set up the roles and reorder the table columns on one computer. And then what we can do is export the registry key and then install that registry key on all other computers. Now, I'm thinking that the majority of you won't have access to your registry. This would involve an IT person that has the ability to get into your registry and export it. Now, there is a CaseWare Working Papers Registry Key, and for the 2012 version, I'll be looking at my tables item, and in this case, the columns that I'm looking at right here. So these are the columns that are currently live within my CaseWare Working Papers file. And I would need to export this key, or alternatively, I can export the entire 2012 or the entire Working Papers key. And this would create a file on my desktop that can then be provided to other staff members, and all they'd have to do is double-click to import it into their registry, assuming that they would have rights to write to their registry. That's a little bit technical, of course, and that's because, once again, we've allowed individual users using CaseWare Working Papers the ability to have a different view. This is important because a file preparer may need to see specific columns in the document manager that a file reviewer would not need to see, and a file reviewer might want to see other specific columns. So each individual has the ability to set the file exactly how they want to view it when they come in. Another setting in the trial balance, you can see I've got green on green here. Again, this is a personal setting. So if I go to Tools and Options, I would see that my color scheme is set to LedgerPad. Well, if somebody else opens this file, they're not going to see the LedgerPad color scheme unless they have specifically set that under Tools Options as well. And I prefer to use LedgerPad over default because staring at the white screen all day tires my eyes out.